1999. Mike.
Thanks, Natalie. So the looming debt crisis in Europe may be affecting the stock market now, but get this, as if we don't have enough to worry about, we may be facing our own tax crisis that's coming to a head by the end of this year. Some, in fact, are calling it taxmageddon, like Armageddon. Here to shed some light on it is Congressman Kevin Brady, who represents the 8th Congressional District in the Woodlands. Thanks for being with us, Congressman.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, so tell us about this taxmageddon thing. Is it really as bad as it sounds?
Yeah, it really is. This is unprecedented that we have all the Republican tax cuts, which means every income level, every rate expires, which means taxes increase. You have the death tax and the marriage penalty that come back to life. Then you have some very popular tax provisions, such as the child tax credit. It helps people raise their kids, keep back a little more of their money. The college tax credits, which you know college is so expensive these days, and a number of provisions dealing with small businesses, all of which end. So this tax cliff is a very serious issue.
So these are the Bush-era tax cuts, right, that are set to expire?
Primarily those, as well as the payroll tax holiday that President Obama put in place, but mainly it is the Bush tax cuts, along with some incentives for people to invest in the economy and save, such as the dividend, lower rates on dividend and capital gains. Dividends are very important to seniors. That's a lot of the revenue, other than Social Security, comes from that. So this is going to affect every American who's paying taxes today.
So if nothing is done about this between now and the end of this year, let's just use, for example, the average American family, a family of 4 making an average income. Their tax rate is going to increase on January 1st.
It will increase in a major way. I would think for most Texans, I think the average increase for a family of 4 will be around $3,000 if it were allowed to happen. We can't allow that to happen. House Republicans, Ways and Means Committee, we handle these tax issues. We're working to try to get a solution in place before the end of the year. My guess is a lot's going to depend upon what happens November 6th, who has the most leverage going into the holidays. But as usual, Congress tends to do things at the last minute. Regrettably, I wish we'd do it sooner.
What are the chances? Because, like you said, probably nothing is going to happen until after the election, right? What are the chances that in the last 8 weeks of the year or so, from November 6th through December 31st, that something could actually get done? Or could there be a bill that just kicks the can down the road for another 6 months or so?
I think it will get done. I'm confident it will get done. The question is for how long. I just think all these provisions that end one year or the next are really harmful to the economy, very confusing for families and businesses. I would like to see a permanent solution. We're pushing for fundamental tax reform, which means we make the code a lot less complex, lower those rates, help families, make businesses more competitive. You know, that's the ultimate solution. Whether we do that in one step or two, really it does depend on Election Day this November.
Do you think that there's the political will in Washington, though, to do anything bold? Because it seems like a lot of politicians are scared to do that these days.
You know, during election years, unfortunately, and even in non-election years, you know, I think people in Washington put off the tough decisions, whether it's saving Social Security and Medicare, getting our taxes really back to a fair, level playing field, or dealing with the debt. I think too many people are looking at their shadow. The truth of the matter is, I think the public wants truth tellers. Tell us how serious the problem is, give us good ideas to solve it, and then make those decisions. If we'll do that, there's not a problem we can't solve.
Congressman, in the couple minutes we have left, I want to just switch gears a little bit and ask you about a different subject, and that's the subject of international travel out of the city of Houston, and the subject of Southwest Airlines wanting to start flights to Latin America. Do you support that, international flights going out of Hobby Airport and not just Bush Intercontinental?
You know, I don't, and here's why. I've worked on our economy, especially the international part of our economy, for many years. Our future economic growth in the Houston region won't come about because of cheaper fares to Cancun. It will come about if we have the flights, the travel, the trade that complement our energy, our healthcare, our financial industry, our emergency industries. Our emerging industries in Houston depend upon a strong international hub. Bush provides us that, and I think it's a huge competitive advantage over the hubs we compete against: Dallas, Atlanta, Miami, and others.
Okay, sir, also staying here locally, has there been any talk recently over the last couple of weeks, any updates as to the progress of the oil pipeline, the Trans-Canada pipeline?
Well, obviously that is still stalled overall. sitting on the president's desk. They've decided to build the southern portion of it from here in Texas, southeast Texas, up to Oklahoma, but that doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't bring that Canadian oil down to Texas to be refined and create jobs here. In the House, we just passed a bill again last week to get that pipeline approved and get it started. I just think if we're going to be more energy secure, why not use energy from right here in North America?
Speaking of security, Social Security, I understand that there's a report that's going to be released, the annual report.
Yeah,
sort of
very soon today.
Health. And what do you expect to be contained in that report?
Yeah, I think you're going to see alarming figures on Social Security disability, which could become insolvent here the next 4 or 5 years. I think you're going to see Medicare continue to look at a bankruptcy within 12 years, which literally is just right around the corner when you look at the seniors. One of my big concerns is that if you leave Medicare as it is today, it ends itself. And I think Congress needs to take action both to save it for those who are on Medicare today, but also for future generations, give them the options to make sure it's around for them when they need it.
Okay, Congressman, you have an election coming up, of course, as well. How do you plan on winning that, and what would you like to do in your next 2-year term?
Well, we're fortunate in that I never moved to Washington. We live here. I commute to work each week. I've got over almost 2 million miles commuting back and forth. We hold ourselves accountable. We do more than 50 town hall meetings a year to make sure we stay close to those we represent. As a result, we tend to do well in these elections. What I want to do is I want to tackle this deficit. I want to get the economy back on track. I want to make sure that Texas energy isn't under attack as it is today. If we do that and tackle Social Security and Medicare, which I'm on the committee, Ways and Means Committee, that will come up with that solution, I think we can get these things done.
All right, Congressman Kevin Brady from the Woodlands, U.S. House of Representatives, thank you very much, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Appreciate it.
Well,